In the heart of a peaceful suburban neighborhood, where white picket fences and perfectly manicured lawns hide a world of secrets, a dangerous obsession would lead to a shocking crime. This is the story of a neighbor, a housewife, and a deadly infatuation that shattered lives and left a community in disbelief. Meet 32-year-old Sarah Thompson, a devoted housewife and mother of two. Sarah was known for her kindness, her warm smile, and her ability to make everyone feel at home. She was the heart of her family and a beloved member of her community. But behind her cheerful demeanor, Sarah was hiding a secret, one that would ultimately lead to her tragic demise. Enter 48-year-old David Miller, Sarah's next-door neighbor. David was a loner, a man who kept to himself and rarely interacted with others in the neighborhood. He had a troubled past, with a history of failed relationships and a reputation for being unpredictable. When David moved into the house next door, no one could have predicted the dark turn his life would take. At first, David and Sarah's interactions were innocent: friendly waves over the fence, casual conversations about the weather, and the occasional borrowed cup of sugar. But as time went on, David's interest in Sarah grew into something much more sinister. He became obsessed with her, watching her every move and fantasizing about a life with her. Sarah was married to Michael Thompson, a successful businessman and devoted father. Michael was often away on business trips, leaving Sarah to manage the household and care for their two young children. While Michael's absences were a source of stress for Sarah, she never imagined that they would put her in danger. David's obsession with Sarah grew with each passing day. He began to watch her from his window, tracking her movements and imagining scenarios where they would be together. He started leaving small gifts on her doorstep: flowers, notes, and trinkets, hoping to win her affection. But Sarah, unaware of the depth of David's obsession, simply saw him as a friendly neighbor. One evening, David's obsession reached a breaking point. He confronted Sarah in her backyard, confessing his feelings for her and begging her to leave Michael and be with him. Sarah, shocked and frightened, tried to let him down gently, explaining that she loved her husband and could never be with him. But David wasn't willing to take no for an answer. In the days that followed, David's behavior became increasingly erratic. He began sending Sarah threatening text messages, warning her that if she didn't leave Michael, he would make her regret it. Sarah, terrified, confided in Michael, who immediately took steps to protect his family. Michael installed security cameras around the house and filed a restraining order against David. But David, consumed by his obsession, wasn't deterred. He began to stalk Sarah, following her to the grocery store, the park, and even her children's school. Sarah's once peaceful life had become a nightmare. On the evening of September 12th, Sarah decided to confront David once and for all. She told him that his behavior was unacceptable and that she would call the police if he didn't leave her alone. David, enraged, grabbed Sarah by the arm and threatened to kill her if she didn't give him a chance. Sarah managed to break free from David's grip and ran into the house, locking the door behind her. She called Michael, who was away on a business trip, and told him what had happened. Michael, furious and worried, immediately booked a flight home. David, consumed by rage and desperation, began to formulate a plan. He couldn't bear the thought of losing Sarah, and he was determined to make her his, no matter the cost. He waited until the early hours of the morning, when the neighborhood was quiet, and made his move. David broke into Sarah's house through a back window, his movements quick and deliberate. He found Sarah in the living room, her face filled with terror as she realized what was happening. David, armed with a knife, demanded that Sarah come with him. When she refused, he attacked. Sarah fought back with all her strength, but David was too strong. He overpowered her, stabbing her multiple times before fleeing the scene. Sarah's lifeless body was discovered by Michael when he arrived home the next morning. The police quickly identified David as the prime suspect. They found his fingerprints at the scene and discovered the knife used in the attack hidden in his garage. David was arrested and charged with Sarah's murder. David's trial was a media sensation, with every detail of the case scrutinized by the public. During the trial, the prosecution presented a compelling case, including the security footage and testimony from neighbors. David's defense team argued that he was mentally unstable and not responsible for his actions, but the jury wasn't convinced. After a lengthy trial, David Miller was found guilty of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. The verdict was a bittersweet victory for Sarah's family and friends, who had lost a beloved wife, mother, and friend. Sarah's family was left to pick up the pieces of their shattered lives. They remembered Sarah as a kind, loving woman who had been taken from them far too soon. Her death was a stark reminder of the dangers of obsession and the devastating consequences of unchecked mental illness. The suburban neighborhood, once a symbol of peace and tranquility, was forever changed by the shocking murder that had unfolded within its streets. It was a stark reminder that even in the most idyllic of places, darkness can lurk beneath the surface. Was justice served? David Miller is behind bars, but the lives he destroyed can never be repaired. Sarah Thompson lost her life in a moment of obsession and rage, and her family was left to mourn her tragic death. This tragic tale serves as a cautionary reminder of the dangers of obsession, the destructive power of unchecked mental illness, and the devastating consequences that can arise when boundaries are crossed. In the end, the suburban neighborhood was forever changed by the shocking murder that followed. If you found this story compelling, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more true crime stories that delve into the darkest corners of human nature. And if you have a case you'd like us to cover, let us know in the comments below. Until next time, stay safe and stay curious.